Unajua nani, lakini watajua sauti. Haijalishi. Imba dakika moja.
Wewe ni Mungu, pasua bahari, haufananishwi na kitu kingine, haufananishwi na kitu kingine. Unafanya mambo ambayo mwanadamu hawezi kufanya. Unatoa faraja ambayo mwanadamu hawezi kutoa. Haufananishwi na kitu kingine.
Today, as we thank God for His immense blessings upon our sister, I'm reminded by the words of Prophet Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 3, verses 17 to 19. Habakkuk is a prophet who prophesies during very difficult time. Around 586 BC. This was a time when the children of Israel were under very severe attack. They were being attacked by the Babylonians, who were wicked and bad people. Sometimes the Russians go through difficult times. Sometimes they lose their beloved ones. Sometimes they even lose jobs and sense of livelihood. Sometimes they get sick. And we may ask God questions as Habakkuk did. And Habakkuk is a prophet who some people consider him as a philosopher. He asked God, how can a good God, a holy God and a righteous God allow more wicked Babylonians or Chaldeans to come and punish the less evil Judeans or Israelites? He asked many questions, but he concluded and said, the just shall live by faith. No matter our situations, the just shall live by faith. But the words that has challenged me, our sisters went through difficult times. They faced perilous times, but by faith they have stormed through. And I'm reminded of these words in Habakkuk chapter 3, verses 17 to 18. The Bible says, even though the fig trees have no blossoms, and there are no grapes on the vine, even though the olive crops fail, and the fields lie empty and barren, even though the flock die in the fields, and there are no cattle barn, and the cattle barns are empty, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will rejoice in the God of my salvation. The Lord is my strength. He makes me as sure-footed as a deer, and I'll be able to tread upon the heights. Allow me to preach a message entitled, No Matter What I Go Through. Sometimes I go through pain. Sometimes I go through disappointment. Sometimes I go through perilous times. Even recently, you remember I also underwent difficult time. I was hit by a chair and I bled. But despite all that we go through, my dear sisters who are gathered here, yet I am going to do the following things. Number one, despite what I'm going through, the first thing that I will do, I will trust in the giver of the things and not these things that are transient. Sometimes we should not trust on the job. We should not trust on what we possess. They may be taken. I trust in the giver and not the things that I have. Number two, My joy will come from God and not these things. The Bible says, rejoice in the Lord. It says, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will not rejoice in these things, they are temporal. And the Bible says, rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say, rejoice. May your gentleness be known as unto everyone, for the Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but with prayer and supplication, let your request be known as unto God, and He will grant you the peace which surpasses human understanding. Number 3, my salvation comes from the Lord, not on these things. Always, no matter what I go through, I know my salvation, my provision, my protection is in God and not these things. Lastly, my strength comes from God. And I am going to tread on high. Nitapanda. Kuna wimbo tunaimbanga, I'm not a very good singer, but Bwana kwa imani nipandishe. Bwana inue kwa imani nisimame, nipande milima yote.
Bwana unipandishe.
Bwana akae nani?
Akae nawe pia.
Katika mikono yako ya milele Bwana Mungu, twakabidhi dada huyu wetu mpendwa. Baraka ambayo umempa, njia ambayo umemfungulia, iwe ya baraka na manufaa kwake na familia yake. Pia dada wetu ule mwingine ambao ulimfungulia njia na anaendelea, panua mipaka yao. Wasikose chochote. Inua jamii yao, na mwaka huu wape haja za mioyo zao. Chochote ambacho wamehitaji, wametaja ama kama wajataja, uwape. Na amani yako iwatawale na kuwatamalaki. Sasa Baba mwema, naacha baraka na amani ya Mwenyezi Mungu Baba, Mwana na Roho Mtakatifu iwe juu ya wadada hawa, na iwe juu ya sisi sote watumishi wako, na ikae pamoja na ofisi hii na wapendwa hawa sasa na hata milele. Wabariki shambani na nyumbani, wabariki kazini, walinde watakaposafiri, na uwe pamoja na wao. Kwa Kristo Bwana wetu.
Amen.